ultimately we need to keep one eye on the wholesale side of things, which you've kind of just touched on. So that's what everyone's looking at closely, and that will have an impact for consumers next April. I think the main thing from a consumer point of view, despite all of this news that's going on at the moment, is an actual fact. Consumers are protected. They're protected by the price cap for now, although we've seen increases. That will stay that way until the 1st of April next year. And then we'll just need to see how the land lies at that point, and hopefully there'll be some better deals available. But as I say, there's so many variables to this, as the other guest has just touched on. So many things could change at any point. We've seen an easing in the wholesale prices, which has been very welcome. Long may that continue, but the reality is no one knows.
Do you think that there is good and healthy competition in our energy market? We've seen a lot of these smaller companies going under quite quickly. Malcolm Grimston there just talked about the risk of contagion with economic issues facing the bigger companies, which would really cause a problem. I mean, what are we left to do as people paying those energy bills?
I think it's undoubtedly one of the side effects of all of this is that we're going to have a smaller market, a less competitive to a certain extent market. That doesn't always mean that it has to be a bad thing. Sometimes crisis can be a great catalyst to change. We'll see how this kind of plays out. There's going to be some suppliers that have already gone. We expect more to follow. That obviously has an impact on consumer choice, but there'll still be plenty out there. What we want to avoid is a situation where we go back to the so-called big six, less competition. A lot of those big, larger suppliers as well are very, very slow. They don't really innovate. Some of those smaller suppliers were really game changers. As I say, award-winning for some of them. The likes of Igloo Energy won awards. Unfortunately, they've gone bust. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Consumers will hopefully still have choice. And if we do see wholesale prices diminish as we go into spring next year, hopefully they will. If the price cap is where we think it will be, which could be £400 or £500 higher than where it is now, then hopefully there'll be some cheaper options for customers to switch to.
And what do you recommend consumers do right now? Should we just sort of buckle down, prepare for winter, try not to put the heating on as much as perhaps we might be tempted to? Or should we be looking now very closely at the sort of energy policy we have with our suppliers and thinking of changing?
Exactly what you said at the start there. So from a consumer point of view, as I say, the very cheapest tariff you can now get on the market is a standard variable tariff, which is the first time that's ever happened. That cap was put in place to stop a standard variable tariff, enabling suppliers to so-called profiteer from customers on that. That is now about £400 or £500, the cheapest deal on the market. And you will be on that tariff by doing nothing. So if you're on a fixed tariff that's coming to an end, you're getting messages to say, here's a fixed tariff for a year or 2 years or 3 years. Ignore it. Stay put, stay on the standard variable tariff. It's by far the cheapest. As I say, there's a bit of a gamble with it. We need to see what is going to be available in the market next March or April. But even worst case, where the predictions are for the price cap from next April at £1,800, which is still a very worrying figure to hear from a consumer point of view, that is actually the price of the best fixed tariffs right now. So there's no financial benefit whatsoever in the next 12 months for a customer to switch, which, as I say, coming from a person who runs a price comparison site, is something I've certainly never said before, but is genuinely the best advice. Stay put, don't worry, take steps that you can to reduce your energy consumption, keep the bill as low as you possibly can. But in terms of price rises, there's nothing to worry about until next year. We'll hear about it in the middle of February as to which direction the price cap is going in. It's undoubtedly going to go up. It's just a case of how much. And then it's that point, have a look on the market and see what you can switch to at that stage.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.